I'd say get along with your band well, get the social media thing down, practice, don't think you're too cool, and just keep a level head. Be nice to everybody unless they deserve otherwise. And, just keep sticking with it. Stick with it. That's all I can say.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters in That podcast. I am your host, Brian, and joining me today is fellow brother in the metal community, Adam Karl. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, and he's got the poster and everything too. He is part of the hit metal group. You guys up and coming right now? Did you guys just start off?
We've been writing music for a while, but we had a bunch of member changes and all that nonsense. But yeah, we're up and going now.
That sounds cool too. And for those who have trouble trying to read the wording, since it seems metal always has, they always seem like bunch the wording together too. So it's almost like you can't really see it. So for those who didn't hear, Portal of Pazuzu.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right.
So, how'd you hear about the band?
You know what? I was just gonna say I was stumbling through Facebook because I was just adding friends and everything, and I happened to add you as a friend too. So it was quite by accident, really. So
excellent.
And
accidents are always the best.
I know, the good kind of accidents. Oh, yeah. But I was just reaching out, and I was just finding out drummers. I would be like, "Hey, you want to come on my podcast and just come talk?" And I saw he happened to be in a group too, and I was making sure, is it a group that he's a part of, or is it just something he's trying to promote too? So when I figured
I'm a part of it.
That's for sure. And you also proved it too with the videos you'd shown me and everything too, because we talked for a little bit last night. So,
oh yeah.
But we're going to get into the band a little bit, so you can elaborate as much as you want. But first, just got some questions here for you because we want to get to know you a little bit more. So, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, let's start with an easy one. Tell us a little bit about your drum history. How did you get into drumming?
Let's say about I'm 41 years old, so around MTV. In the 90s, I was just memorized by the drums. It was a magical thing. It really caught my attention, and it just overtook me. It was like an addiction. I just played all day, every day for so many years until I literally started to hate the drums. So I pushed back a little bit. Now I'm full force again. So 30 years of drumming experience.
That's pretty sweet. Did you start off with like the pots and pans and everything, or did you?
Oh yeah, yep. It's the only thing I remember. I grew up in rural Wisconsin, and I remember playing with sticks and pots and pans, and not toys. I was more interested in music than anything else.
I guess were your parents very supportive when you say like, "Hey, I want to be in a rock band" or something like that?
Yeah, actually, they were pretty supportive. I mean, as much as they could be. I didn't get my first drum set till probably 14 years old.
Oh, really?
So I was, I'm 100% self-taught, and I pick up things from other people and just the environment, and more of an intuitive drummer than I'd say a technical drummer.
I see. I guess what was your first set? Was it electric or was it an acoustic set?
Oh, this is way before electric drum sets were even in the picture. So it was acoustic set. Not even really, can't even remember what it was. So, but I mean, I beat on that forever. And just, kept on getting more drum sets. I don't know how many I went through so far. I'd say probably 50.
Yeah. The years of abuse have caused us to lose count of how many drums we went through.
Correct.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet, too. I guess, is your set nearby by any chance? Your current set? Or is it in a different room?
I actually do not have a drum set at my house, which is a good thing. because I like to keep that separate. But I do have a Pearl custom set I bought off some drum collector guy. It's a very odd bass drum size, 22-inch wide and 34 inches deep. So it's basically like two bass drums welded together. So it's a cannon, you would probably call it.
Like just out of cannons.
It's definitely different. I got an 8-inch tom, 10-inch tom, 12-inch, 16. I'm actually playing Joey Jordison's Slipknot signature snare drum. It's a 13x7. I actually like the feel and sound of that one. It's not bad. Good, durable drum, to be honest.
That's sick, too.
I use Sabian HHX cymbals. I have a 13-inch groove hi-hat, a 16-inch power crash, two 17-inch heavy crashes, an 18-inch pasty china. It's an old school 502, but I really like the sound of that one. I actually don't think there's anything that sounds like that. 20-inch HHX metal ride. That's basically what I'm rocking these days. Double kick pedal, nothing fancy. I'm more, I'd say, personally invested with my body than I am with the equipment.
I see, yeah.
So I can play on anything you throw my way, and really doesn't matter.
If it works, we'll incorporate it. If it doesn't, then throw it away, start over again.
If it doesn't work, I'll make it work anyway.
Oh, wait? All right. That's commitment. Yeah. All right. Love it.
You know? Fucking A, man. So, other than that, just been drumming for a long time.
I see, yeah. Did you... I was going to try to figure out this question. Did you start off like playing like maybe the classic rock musics, the Black Sabbath, Dios, all those guys first before jumping into the death metal scene?
You're absolutely correct. So I listened to what my parents listened to, like Led Zeppelin and all that classic rock, you know, rock and roll. Then I progressively moved up. Then I found out Metallica when I was about, 9 years old, 10 years old. Then I heard Injustice for All, and that was pretty much just the end of it right there. And then I just kept on getting heavier and heavier. I really enjoyed Pantera. Oh, yeah. I really enjoyed Morbid Angel. I mean, my influences are so from one spectrum to the next. So Dream Theater, Mike Portnoy, all that stuff. Even the drummer classic greats like Steve Gadd and all, just the really schooled, very technical, but still not at the same time. They're more feeling. They play for the music, which is I am very for playing for the music.
Yeah, like Metallica was your baptism by fire, so to speak. So.
Oh, pretty much, yep. Metallica, Megadeth, Morbid Angel, all that stuff from when Beavis and Butthead type era, we had all that, all those videos and shit, and I would just watch a Headbangers Ball, and I would just be totally into it as a child.
Yeah, right. It was the God of Emptiness for Morbid Angel, but they also put a Guar on there too, so that was that actually. I think it helped them expand their careers, I guess.
I imagine so, because it gave them, public exposure.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the darkness stuff now.
I love the dark stuff.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then, let's see. Did you also get into like the Slayer, Anthrax, and pretty much you name it?
Divine Intervention. That drummer Paul Bostaph, just powerful, very, very powerful, and just it's got that whole old school speed. I mean, it just never gets old. Even to this day, I'll be jamming some Slayer.
Oh yeah, old schools always seem to be better in some ways, but even like bands who still go to this day who've been probably playing since the 80s.
Oh yeah,
they still make some killer music now and again.
Well, of course, because time evolves. They get more experience. You gather experience from like the environment, you got to think all these guys been on tour for X amount of years. All the dirty clubs and dirty band people all around. I imagine they got a lot of angst built up.
Yeah. The other thing too is like they sober up at some point, which it's a good thing off the stage, but if it comes to the music and on the stage, it's almost like, can you go back to being your drunken old self because you wrote better music and stuff? So
here's a couple beers before we play. Here, yep.
You go out there and do it. Here's some shots of Jack Daniels. Here you go. Shut
yep. Do it.
All right. So what did you love most about drumming when you were seeing like the MTV and the pots and pans and everything? Was it just something that just called out to you?
I think I was shot out of my mom's crotch with drumsticks because it's all I've ever known is what it's just in me. If I lost my arms and legs, I'd probably just be done.
Yeah.
Emotionally done.
Yeah.
But I'd still deal with it somehow. But I mean, it's a thing that's always, it made me feel powerful when I was a kid. I used to stutter so bad I couldn't even talk. So I went through about 10 years of speech therapy because I stuttered so bad. And obviously you get made fun of when you're not up to everybody's standards or whatnot. So drums is one of the things that I went to make me feel more accepted by at least myself. Gave me more confidence. Most definitely helped me stop stuttering, I imagine. And it kept me out of jail and kept me, straightforward and focusing on art.
I see. I guess, did you kind of like have a little bit of a dark period through like high school and stuff like that? Is that how you kind of almost ended up in jail?
I'm still in the dark period, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, no. You're at least not behind bars and stuff like that. So.
No. There's bars. You know what I'm saying though? It kind of, when you're younger, you run with bad crowds or whatnot, and that's something that would keep me off from running with the bad crowd. I would spend a lot of time alone, practicing, listening to music, researching the drummers. That things were different back when I was younger, though. There was no YouTube. There was no social media. There was barely any internet. There was that dial tone. There was chat rooms. It was a lot tougher back in the day to get anywhere. I'd say music, drumming wise. It's not like it is today.
That's for sure. Yeah, like back then I think it was like you had to get like an ad, and that was like the newspapers and everything you had to do. It was all physical paper and stuff. So you had to do it that way. You had to put it up on the telephone poles, be like, hey, come check out these guys.
Yep.
Flyers,
flyers, stick up your flyers everywhere.
Yeah.
And whatever.
Nowadays, not so much. We could just simply post it, and here you go.
Yep. And whoever wants to hit on it, they do.
Did you ever start a YouTube channel when YouTube started to take off and everything?
No way. I probably was too busy with myself, doing my own thing with art. I haven't been, I'd say, the most promoted type person. I guess it really doesn't matter to me that much. Never really has, I guess.
I see.
It's, I'd rather like to be mysterious and, this is, now people get the chance to hear me, what I have to say,
That's good too. It's good to share your story, get it out there too.
Yeah.
The other thing too is you find out, at least in the drumming community I'm a part of, we're pretty open to everybody too. We don't care what sort of disability you have or whether you're a metalhead, guy who likes pop music, rap, or anything like that. I mean, we find out we're all drummers. We all love doing what we're doing, beating the hell out of plastic and metal and stuff like that too. So we all share that in common. So
I mean, I enjoy all types of music.
Do you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm very open-minded when it comes to music. It kind of makes me more diverse in my application towards the drums.
Do you try to incorporate, I guess, some of the other genres into your playstyle?
Not on purpose. I mean, I imagine there is.
Like trying to experiment, maybe if it's when you guys are maybe recording your music, do you try to say like, maybe I could try a fill here and try something that makes it sound awesome?
I'm I am totally probably not the on the spot studio guy like that. I like to prepare, but I have done that. Actually, the first track on our album that was done in the studio, and I made it up right then and there. So it actually has been done recently by me.
And what song was that?
That is Call to Prayer.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
The intro, when it starts out with the toms,
Yeah,
I made that up right then and there.
right then and there on the spot. Awesome.
Right then and there on the spot. One take and then pushed it. That's it.
Did they tell you like do it again just to be safe? When they'd be
No.
like, no,
No, I was happy with what I did that time. It's all about the moment in a lot of cases too.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that too, because I know there was one with like Kerry King and Dimebag Darrell, because Kerry King, he was doing outro solo for Goddamn Electric, and his one was he was plugging it in. I guess the stereo or whatever it was. It was in a bathroom here, and he just played his whole solo and did it in one take. And Dimebag comes running in, he's like, "Don't do it again," that sort of thing. Was that kind of that moment there?
Well, yeah, because how can you replicate a feeling twice or a time in the moment that's already passed? You really can't. So you have to go for that, and if it's perfect and you think it's good enough, then you keep it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's get into the band. Portal of Pazuzu. How did it come about?
Excuse me?
I guess, how did it come about? I guess who formed it?
How did it come about?
Yeah.
So me and this one guy I know, excellent guitar player, Don Benson, me and him were playing in bands for, I'd say, 15 years. We lost contact for a while, and then we got back together, started messing around, jamming. Okay, there was just the two of us. We wrote a few songs, and then we met up with this guy. His name's Huron Duraniagala. He's from the band Battlecross from Michigan, and then he wanted to join, so he's on board. And then we had a couple singers, and then a couple bass players, and now we got on vocals. We have real good guy, known him for 20 plus years, name's Tony Farrow, just excellent vocalist. Huron from Battlecross, excellent. Don Benson, excellent. Then we got a bass player, Mike Saraceno, just, perfect bass player, quiet, does his little thing. He's a bass player. He's there.
Yeah.
He does a great job. I'm happy with my lineup.
That's your current lineup right now?
Oh yeah, very happy with it.
I always had to laugh with the bass player because he was holding it so high up when I was watching those videos last night and everything. I'm thinking like he could be like Derek Boyer from Suffocation and Decrepit Birth, because Derek Boyer, he holds it pretty much
like vertical or something.
Literally like vertical or horizontal.
Horizontal, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. He holds it this way and then
up and down.
And he just squats real low too, and I'm thinking like, man, he could probably do that. And I'm thinking like, how do those players actually do that? And that's
I don't know. I know his fingers are like, ooh, almost like, whoa.
Oh man.
So yeah, I meshed good with the band, and it's more of an intuitive thing. I write most of the music with the one guitar player that I started the band with, and it's obviously it's a group effort, but me and him know each other's chops, and we get it done.
I guess, where'd you get the name Portal of Pazuzu? Was it from watching The Exorcist?
It was. We had this little area we were playing in, and we had this light, this little freaking weird light, and it would swirl. And me and my friend Donnie were just, I don't know, it came about, and then we talked about Portal, and then I had a dream that night, woke up, and The Exorcist was playing where the part where the demon, the Pazuzu, was there. And I was just like, well, that's it. So I called them up, and that's the band Portal of Pazuzu. So
The Exorcist.
it just kind of just happened, just like that. There wasn't a lot of thought into it. It was just kind of like, boom, there it is. This is how it's going to be.
It's funny too because the story is similar to like how Geezer Butler came up with the song Black Sabbath. It was like they just woke up. He wasn't really watching a movie like The Exorcist. It was just more of like he was thinking he was still dream. It was like caught in a dream or something. He was like seeing this big black shape which looked like the devil and stuff like that. So, so that's how that came about. And then
yeah, but the thing is, I wasn't even watching The Exorcist. I fell asleep with the TV on and woke up, and that was on. So it was kind of like, subconscious mind. Wake up, wake up. There's your band name. There it is.
It was our epiphany moment, if we want to call it that.
Always epiphany moment.
Yep. So I guess who designed the logo and the name?
Actually, there was a Notre Dame professor I went to school with 20 years ago, Lucas Cordy, excellent artist. He did all the artwork by hand with, I think, a pen. So he redesigned our logo, did our artwork for the album, and designed everything artwork related.
I was gonna say,
and he does a lot of bands, Tomb Mold, and he did a Black Dahlia Murder shirt. He's got a good name, so
he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. He's a teacher.
Yeah. You know what? When I was staring at it too, I'm thinking like, I'm just seeing this freakish demon here doing this, maybe giving like a benediction or something like that, and then I'm seeing a guy, it looks like he ripped out his heart or something like that, and I'm thinking like, that's so metal. You crazy motherfuckers, you.
Hell yeah. It's like, it's just, he nailed the art exactly the way we wanted it. I gave him artistic freedom. He knows me, he knows the band, and I let him do his thing, and he nailed it. Knocked it out of the park.
Did he do like multiple sketches? Is it like, here's one, here's two, pick your poison?
Oh, he showed me along the way what he was doing, and I'd be like, yeah, looks great, and then he just went with it.
I see too. That is so sick. And
so very organic process, everything.
I see. So did you guys start taking it more seriously in 2020, or I guess kind of walk us through the timeline?
So what do you mean, COVID-19?
That too, and I guess did you guys start taking the music more seriously after you had the artwork and the name?
Well, yeah. I mean, everything seems like it's always pushed back. We've been trying to release this album for probably 2 years. We recorded it right when the pandemic hit. It was super stressful. The sound engineer would only want one band member in the studio at a time. It was just put off a long time. And it was, and now a year has passed, which we haven't really did anything because of all the pandemic. And I'm from Michigan, so the laws here were pretty bad, where we had band practice at a studio and the cops were pounding on the door because we had too many people in there. So they shut us down. So it's been one hurdle after the other, but we still get together once, twice a week, regardless. And, we're working on a new EP right now. So we're halfway done with writing songs, and we're going to get that recorded here probably this year, I imagine.
I see.
But, I mean, as far as being serious, I'd say we've always been pretty serious. At least to us, it's not like we're trying to make it big or whatever kind of nonsense that people think that they're going to do. I play music because it's, just part of who I am. and not put any thought into anybody else about it.
I see. That's pretty sweet too, and best of luck to you too going forward. I guess walk us through the studio process. I guess was it pretty hard at first, and then you kind of got used to it, or was there any sort of drama, anything like that?
Studio process. So I'd have the guitar player, my main guy Donnie. He would be playing along, and I would be playing too. I did not use a click track. I just played with the guitar along with it and made sure I was on time as much as I could be. Like I said, it was kind of a stressful recording process. I wish we would actually took more time on it, but it was done very fast. I think I did the drums in about 2 hours for the whole album, and everybody's kind of only got a few hours in it, you know? So maybe in the future I'd like to re-record some of these songs. Somebody that can produce it better, take more time in the quality of the sound and stuff like that. But the idea is there.
I see.
The idea is there. The structure is there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I know studios, it tends to get a little stressful at times. Maybe it's some sort of disagreements or stuff like that, or unexpected things come up. I have to keep going back to Slayer too, because I know Kerry King, when he was talking about it, when they were doing Divine Intervention, which you had talked about.
Oh yeah.
He said they had to keep jumping around to 3 studios and just pretty much start all over again, because it wasn't like it is today, where maybe you could just delete the track and start over again. Those ones you had analog, so you have no choice but to start over. Otherwise, you got to compress the hell out of it or try to pick up where you left off, and that's probably a frustrating process too. So
yeah, that seems a little unethical in a lot of situations, but back then that's what they did. If they messed up, they had to play the whole song over again.
And then you think about it too, because getting into Russia a little bit, I always pronounce it wrong, and I know I'm going to say it wrong on here too, but the one long instrumental on the Hemispheres album, La Villa Stratiado, I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
And they said they had to do that 40 times back in the day. So,
well, I can imagine. It's just, and like I said before, you can't replicate a feeling that you had. So if you don't get it right one day, I guess you got to come back tomorrow and see if you can do it right then.
Yeah, it's something like that. So your lyrics in the song, they all seem to kind of have a little bit of a hellish theme to it. Are you guys just kind of do it for fun, really, or is there like some sort of message you want to kind of hide in the lyrics?
Hidden message.
I don't know. Hey, some people do
Fire shit. Hail Satan. No, I'm just kidding. I'd say we're just going through like demon mythology type deal, I'd say, for this album. You know, because Pazuzu is, I guess, you know, documented in the history of the world. So kind of did some research on some mythology, I guess you'd call it. And Lamashtu, that's a song off our album. It's, you know, about Pazuzu's woman, the demon queen, you know. So, which all women are demons anyway, so... Just kidding.
Yeah, let's not go that far. Let's not go that far. All right. No, that's actually pretty sweet too. And sometimes when you listen to kind of music too, because yours kind of reminds me of a little bit of incantation style of music. Kind of has a little bit of a slow pattern to it, but also has speed at times. And normally when I listen to the kind of music that you guys do, it's kind of like a dark romantic art. That's kind of the way I kind of interpret it as. Yeah. Would you guys say the same thing?
I'd say it's definitely art. And it's dark. It's dark art.
I see. Who started your band's YouTube channel? Because I know I talked about it briefly last night, and I saw it there, and it looks like, is it still relatively new?
Yeah, it's new. My guitar player Huron handles most of the social media aspects of the band, for the most part. I don't even have passwords to anything. Yeah. They probably, you know what I mean. Yeah, and with the drumstick, I'll be like, yeah, thing don't work right.
Well, you had to borrow somebody else's Skype just to get on here too, so we
exactly. Can talk about it. You already know the deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
First time I used Skype right here.
Really? This is your first time?
You virginized me.
I see. Get back into COVID, I guess. Did it affect you personally, or is it?
Oh, I got COVID before.
Did you?
Yeah, I was real sick. Didn't go to the hospital, but I probably should have. But I just laid in my house for about 3 weeks, feeling like I'm gonna die,
Oof.
and then I couldn't play drums very good afterwards. It was like there was like this long haul effect that took a long time. I quit smoking cigarettes, so I mean, some good things came out of it, like getting pushed to point of almost death, and then you got to make some life choices. But I mean, it's been a rough ride, but we all go on.
Yep.
And I didn't lose anybody from it, so always things are looking up.
That's good to see, and good to see you gave up cigarettes too. It's good to have you around for a good while too. Don't let it kill you too soon.
Thanks, man.
And the thing in the other interviews, I don't know if you've seen some of the other ones, but pretty much mostly everybody has said it's been some sort of blessing in disguise where it allowed them to like expand and do other projects and stuff like that. So would you say it was kind of the same way outside of quitting smoking?
I would say I wouldn't think that. It's not a blessing in disguise because a lot of people lost their lives, and you have to think of it as a big picture. So it was terrible. I'm not going to say it's a blessing in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I see what you're pointing at. It's just whenever I ask that, it's more of like, was it more personal? Like
Personal?
To kind of give you a little bit of a blessing.
Nah, nothing really changed for me except staying away from people a little bit more. And then we couldn't play. It put a hinder on our band, put a hinder on performing, on our studio time, on our studio recording process. So basically everything was messed up by it. It's definitely a blessing.
I see. Fair enough. I guess has Michigan rolled back most of their mandates and everything now, or there's still some in effect?
No, there's no mandates at the moment. People aren't wearing their masks and stuff, but that's just what it comes to now.
Yeah.
Some people do, some people don't. It's all personal preference, and when we play a gig, we always got a little bottle of hand sanitizer on the merch table. I run over there and do it real quick and go and do my thing. Just make sure I don't touch my nose and eyes and stuff. Take a little precaution.
Yeah, and make sure you don't lose the handle on the drumsticks if it's a whole lot too, so you're not flying off everywhere there too.
Just put some duct tape on your hands.
Do that. I mean, if you put a whole lot on, it feels like lubricant at the same time. So,
hey, lubricant.
There you go. All right, and you know what? I actually missed a couple questions here. So, what kind of brand of sticks do you use when playing?
Vic Firth 5B Extreme. Seems like they got the nice weight to them. I use wood tip because nylon tip, those things will break off in about one song. So wood tip, 5Bs. I'm not, like I said before, I'm really not into gear, let alone sticks. But 5B is the size, and I have stuck with Vic Firth for quite a while.
I see. And let's see. Do you guys ever think maybe you might incorporate some other sounds into your music too? I don't know if you'll do anything with like percussions, maybe a gong.
Oh yeah, let's do a gong. I'm open for experimentation.
I know Nile, the technical death metal band Nile, they'll incorporate it at some points too. So I didn't know if that would be something.
That drummer's amazing. Yep.
Would you say he's one of your influences? I think it's George Corlius is the drummer for Nile, and then
yeah, he's. I wouldn't say he's one of my influences, but I most definitely respect what he does. I'd say a little bit, maybe influential. I would probably say Pete Sandoval and Gene Hoglan and Paul Paul Bostoff. Just a lot of those drummers have really like made me who I am, I'd say, for being a self-taught drummer and figuring out everything yourself. Those guys were the way to where I am today.
Yeah, I'm also self-taught too, so I just mainly you're just kind of improvising with the music. You try to get as close as you can to, maybe goof around, do maybe the 1 foot blast if you're doing Pete Sandoval's old stuff from Morbid Angel.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've ever done anything from, no, I didn't do anything from Terrorizer, so maybe one of these days I'll check it out too. But have you tried doing blast beats and stuff in the music, or is it not really called for it?
I do it at times. I have in the past, but it's really something I'd never really focused on or maybe practiced enough. It didn't seem to get me. I was more about drum fills, cymbal work, double bass, and more like pulses than more of the skipping CD sound, like which is awesome in its own way too. But again, it's got to, the music has to call for it. I think I only have 1 or 2 blast beat sections in our Portal Pazuzu album. So it's not my go-to thing. I believe there's a lot of other things that you can do in the tool bag than just going for the whole repetitive blast beat, which I have no problem with that stuff. People do what they do. I like listening to some of it for sure, but I like to get a full range of percussion in my music, which, if you hear it, you would know.
Yeah. It's good too to kind of mix it up a little bit too, because if you're just simply doing blast beats, as we were just saying, it's just going to get repetitive and kind of boring then too. So
it's more like a drum exercise, practice exercise than I say maybe a musicality thing in my opinion.
No, I totally agree too, because I sweat my balls off doing it at times too. So
yeah,
it's fun, but it's like I don't know if I could do this for like whole minutes, like what some people do here too. So I'm thinking these people are crazy at times when you're listening to them.
Yeah, I mean it's very repetitive practice to get that clean with your singles. Yeah. You got to get clean with your singles. It's basically a single stroke roll.
Well, why did I do that? I'm cheating, right?
What?
No, I was gonna say. Well, I take
cheating?
this from. Well, cheating because.
They're cheating, man. They're cheating.
Yeah, because actually that was from John Longstrife, who was talking about it in one of his interviews, because he was doing that sort of thing too, and then he's like, "But why would I do that? I'm cheating, right? Because that's what the trolls are saying, right?"
Oh yeah, you know why? Because he actually does drum rudiments and real sticking patterns, like snare drum stickings, but he incorporates it with like the ride cymbal and shit like that, and then so he's doing real drum stuff, just applying it in a heavy metal way.
Yeah, absolutely too. All right, so let me see where we're at. Is there anything you guys want to achieve with your band too? Is there maybe something to say like, "Hey, come hang out with us. We're gonna make a killer show and stuff like that," or
we're down for killer shows, and we're looking for opportunity. I mean, as long as it's good opportunity. We're too old to be sleeping in the gutter, but you know what I mean. We're ready to go wherever. I'd like to maybe get some sort of endorsement sponsorship in the future if I can. If I keep this momentum going.
Yeah, too. And one of the things I saw on your Facebook page, it looks like you guys are you touring with Decrepit Birth and that other band Pathology?
No, we are actually playing. We're opening up for them July 17th at Sanctuary Detroit. A lot of the gigs we play are with national acts. Decrepit Birth, I've never played with them before, but we have played with Pathology. We've played with a lot of bigger names in the metal. I mean, back in the day, we opened up for Morbid Angel many times, and Cannibal Corpse, and just a lot of people. I was hanging out with Pete Sandoval. We were talking drums. I mean,
I'm so jealous. That's
so
so awesome. Oh, you're in for a treat too, because Decrepit, they're one of those technical death metal bands, but they play fast, but it's very well done. And I would say there's, I like to call it psychedelic metal, because it's one of those things like the heightened consciousness and stuff like that. That's kind of like what their lyrics delve into, or I don't know, maybe something the vocalist does when he gets real high at times. He'll maybe think of something to write for the lyrics. So
it's real high. The Illuminati, man,
yeah,
coming to get you. Yeah,
that's sort of thing. All right. Well, that actually would be a killer show too. So
yeah, we're looking forward to playing with Decrepit Birth, and then we're playing in a month after that. It's called Rust Fest with Narcotic Wasteland, Horrendous, Summoning the Lich, just a lot of our friends in Throne, Nethergate. Michigan's got a pretty good metal scene at the moment.
are these all local bands, or are they all in around Michigan?
They're not local bands. A lot of them are just like I said, national touring acts. Narcotic Wasteland, that's the guy from Nile.
Ah, that's right. Yes, I was thinking that was it.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to playing and just doing our thing,
Kicking ass.
getting our dark metal art out there.
That's sweet too.
You
And
know?
have you guys come to Pittsburgh before? I thought I saw some pictures where you toured with other groups, or was that just like
No,
kind of?
we have never been to Pittsburgh. We were recently in Illinois. We did a music fest there, which was really cool. And then that was a month ago we did that. So we always seem to shows. I don't want to overplay us or anything, If you play the same area so much, it just people are, they get burned out on you.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Would you guys ever think of touring nationwide and maybe go international at some point?
I mean, if it'd have to be the right situation, but well, I mean, anything is possible.
I see. Yeah, I can see what you mean too. You're not obviously going to Russia anytime soon, so.
No, and I'm not. Those days of being a rock star are over with. That whole rich and famous, whatever garbage that you saw in the 1990, MTV or whatever that stuff.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's kind of over with. Now it's kind of like I'm sitting here on a podcast talking to you, sitting on my couch.
Or you're live streaming maybe a show you're doing. It's just maybe you guys in the basement or something. I don't know if that's what they did. I don't know if that's what they did, but I think it's something like that, so.
That was happening a lot through the pandemic, obviously, because all these musicians have no way to make money.
Yeah, so you got to improvise.
I'm telling you, COVID has really destroyed a lot of musicians' lives.
I could see, yeah. And
even I'd say the most successful ones were feeling the pain.
yeah, and then it's like they had to kind of buy less expensive things than what they probably were used to buy.
Yeah. Oh, I get to get the shitty water instead of the nice water. Oh, motherfucker.
All right. But it's good to see you guys still kicking ass and everything, too. So
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Best of luck in your show.
Thanks, dude.
All right. So we reached this part of the podcast where now I give my interviewees a little bit of freedom to ask me anything, or if there's anything you'd like to get off your chest. So have at it.
So I seen you did some Dream Theater covers there. which I seen that other drummer before somewhere. Maybe his YouTube came up where he does Dream Theater covers, which I enjoyed that since I am a fan of Dream Theater. So, hey, kudos for you for liking that kind of shit.
I do, yeah, and I don't give Dream Theater a lot of credit. I pretty much stuck with that one album that has the Panic Attack on it.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that is still a killer album, but I should be listening to like all the other ones because the only other one I know outside of that has been Untethered Angel and Pull Me Under. And Pull Me Under
Images and Words. Images and Words is from Pull Me Under.
Yeah, I think that was their first one or something like that because I think they've been around since like the 90s or something like that.
The 80s, I believe.
Cool, wow. So I'm way off. The guy you were referencing, and the one I did the collaboration with, Stamatis Kikes. Yeah, he does a lot of Dream Theater, and he does other music, but he really loves Dream Theater too. More specifically, the Mark Potroy era, maybe some Mangini, but very big Dream Theater guy, to say the least.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's that whole odd time drumming signature from back in the day where you listen to it and you'd be like trying to find the snare drum hit. You know, kind of like Meshuggah, you know, just off kilter, off time drums. But the more you listen to it and the more time goes on and you get those beats clicked in your head, it doesn't seem so odd anymore.
I think it's funny you mentioned Meshuggah too, because it's funny when you listen to Bleed, because I think the rest of the album, it wasn't like very hard, so to speak. Maybe it was like patterns you could at least do after a good few tries.
Yeah.
It's like Bleed is like, what is this? Oh man, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But it's all in the feet too. So, cause
oh yeah, it's like, yep. Well, most of his music is more like a 4 count on the hi-hat or a cymbal or whatnot. And, you know, he's just got, it's not about speed. It's not about anything else. It's about literally what he could play the most simple drum beat and change the timing of it and make it so powerful that he shits on all the people that can play 300 beats per minute, you know? So
yeah,
it's all about, I'd say, the details in the drumming for me.
Yeah, absolutely too. I completely agree 100%. I was trying to remember the other song too, because I think it was on Destroy, Erase, Improve. And I know I was listening to it the one time on the radio, and I'll say it starts off, it's like, oh, this isn't too bad. And then, like, it maybe got into a bridge or something like that, and it was, like, going all over the place. It was, like, and stuff like that, too. So it was like, what kind of time signature are we doing here? I'm completely confused now. So it's like, what the fuck is going on?
He's a master, dude. That guy's a master. Yep.
The fact
Very
that I think of the story behind Bleed with the way he did the double bass. I think they said it took him 6 months to actually get that down. So,
oh yeah,
unbelievable.
It sounds like an idling Harley.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, something like that.
It's more like her does, you know.
But it's like it changes a little bit, like here and there. So.
Oh, it does. Yep.
Yeah.
It's like different sections. Different sections change, and it goes back to a certain idea, but it like evolves, I would say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I guess, do you have any other questions or anything else?
Not much, man. Just thanks for hitting me up and taking the time and shit like that, you know. And everybody come see us. You know, come see us July 17th, Sanctuary Detroit with Decrepit Birth and Stabbing and Unmerciful.
Mm.
So
I was trying to think, were there other ones on the list? Because I thought I saw like 6 outside of you guys too. So
we're playing with Nethergate, us, Decrepit Birth, Stabbing, and Unmerciful.
I see. And it's always good to get the fist too, because you know what, I am so guilty of doing this, and I like going to like all the. Well, the funny thing is, I like go to like all these other interviews from like the other big drummers.
Yeah, I love the fist. The fist is where it's at.
Well, a claw too. It's power, man.
Claw.
Yeah.
Fucking.
But you know what? It was Paul Mazurkiewicz who brought it up too, and I think it's a generational defect now to just simply do this the whole time. So, and he says like, I will always do the fist, and I'm like,
always the fist.
You know what? I see it too, and I'm like, I am so guilty of that too, because the last couple of shows that I went to, I was probably doing a lot more and everything, and I can totally relate. And I feel like he's totally right too. You gotta have the claw and you need the fists back and everything, man. It's about power and stuff.
Yeah, it is about power. You're correct. 100% correct. It's all about the power.
Absolutely too. All right, so you ready for me to jump to the last question?
Go ahead, man. I'm ready.
All right. So obviously we were talking about COVID and everything and its impact that it's had on society, both here in the States and internationally too. So this is the kind of question I always like to ask my interviewees, because I like to know what their 2 cents are on it. So what sort of message of hope could you give to musicians out there, or maybe like in your shoes, they're maybe trying to get into a band or try to make some sort of headlight space, if you know what I mean, get in the limelight?
I'd say get along with your band well. Get the social media thing down. Practice. Don't think you're too cool. And just keep a level head. Be nice to everybody unless they deserve otherwise. And, just keep sticking with it. Stick with it. That's all I can say.
They seriously need to make a song, Stick With It, or that sort of thing too. Because I always think of like the Devo Whip It.
Yeah, whip it. Whip it good.
It.
Stick with it good.
I like it.
Fucking stick with it good.
All right. All right, so.
Fire album. It's out. Hit up our Facebook.
That's so sick. I guess where can people go to? I guess where can people go to get that album? Or are you guys on any of the streaming platforms yet?
We are on. Yep, we're on Apple Music. We're on Spotify. We're on everywhere. So hit us up. We're down to do good shows where we're not sleeping in the gutter, and bring our dark art to wherever it takes us.
I see. I guess where can people hit you guys up at?
You could message us on Facebook, Instagram. I think that's about it. Email us, anything you got going. I'm sure you could message me personally on Facebook. Doesn't even matter. Everybody's accessible.
Yep. Nowadays, everything is so much. Well, I shouldn't really say that. It's at least a little bit easier than it was 20 years ago. Stuff like that.
Oh yeah, definitely easier. People are more amped to talk to you.
Absolutely, yeah. All right. So before we wrap on anything, got any shout outs or any last words?
Shout out to my band. Shout out to all my people that support me. Shout out to you. A shout out to all the good drummers and all the people making music.
Right.
Just keep at it, whip it good. The fist, all that shit.
Don't forget the horns. We need the horns.
Fucking horns. Look at that. See that? You gotta come see me play drums. You see that all day long.
Oh yeah, absolutely too. All right, Adam, we've reached the end of the podcast here, and man, this was a damn good interview, buddy.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man.
All right, everyone, today my guest was Adam Karl. He's part of the hit death metal band Portal of Pazuzu.
Portal of Pazuzu, hit us up.
Yep, and you said it was June 17th when you're playing with Decrepit Birth, Pathology?
July 17th.
July 17th, sorry. So if anyone's in your neck of the woods, make sure you guys get out there and see the show. It's going to be absolutely killing.
Sanctuary, Detroit.
Sanctuary, Detroit.
Yep. All right, brother.
All right. Adam, thank you so much again for coming on. Stay safe.
You too. Thanks for having me, man.
Stay tuned. Make sure I come to Pittsburgh.
Best.